Hello, my name is Richard Ratson, and I'm a faculty member in the University of Connecticut School of Medicine in the Department of Cell Biology. And this is one in a series of YouTube videos on the derivation of anatomical terms. Today's video is on common Greek and Latin roots. And you can see the upper right, the actual Greek English lexicon I used when I was a Greek and Latin major in college, where my interest and passion for anatomical terms and their etymology began, and there's a Latin dictionary. A few comments on Greek and Latin, which you don't need to know, obviously, to understand anatomical nomenclature, but it's helpful to have some understanding of the differences between Greek and Latin and English. Ancient Greek was a language that came from Etruscan. It's an alphabet with 24 letters, many of which are already familiar to any medical professional or student. Alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, zeta, eta, theta, iota, kappa, lambda, mu, nu, psi, omicron, pi, rho, sigma, tau, upsilon, phi, chi, psi, and omega. It's the basis of many Roman myths and the precursor to the Latin language. Latin is an alphabet like ours, but without the J, letters J, U, or W. Both have declensions, which are different endings of words in different cases. We don't have cases in English. We tend to signify that meaning with prepositions like genitive or possession. In Greek or Latin would be spelled differently for boy than if you hit the boy, which would be the accusative case, and boy would be spelled differently in each case. In English, we use prepositions very often. Both languages, as ours, have conjugations, rules for ending of verbs in different tenses, like the future, the present, the past perfect. In English, we would say I lead, I led, I have led, having been led. And in Latin, it would be duco, ducere, duxi, and ductus. And you can see that duco and ductus don't necessarily look quite the same because of the spelling of the past participle, but nonetheless, words that derive from these meanings all go back to duco. Ab means away from, with reference to an imaginary starting point, like away from the house. An example would be the abducens nerve, which through its innervation lateral rectus leads the eye away from an imaginary reference point, which would be looking straight ahead. You can see in the picture of cursive Wikipedia an abducens palsy, so that the left eye is normally abducted, but the right eye is not. It is paralyzed, and it is not fully looking away from the neutral straight ahead position. Abductor pollicis longus is the muscle that leads the thumb away from the neutral position when the hand is at rest. Ad is the opposite. It has a sense of motion or proximity to something, to or toward. It can also mean adjacent to. And examples in anatomy would be the adductor pollicis, which leads the thumb toward the imaginary line that we were using also for abductor. And adrenal, which is an organ that's next to or adjacent to the kidney. Here is renal. Duco is a verb of the third conjugation in Latin. It's very versatile. It can mean many different things like draw along, draw out, bring or take, lead, reckon. Examples in anatomy would be to reduce, meaning to lead back. The RE is back. To lead back an errant structure and putting it back into its normal position, whether it's a loop of bowel or a shoulder joint. Adductor is the muscle we discussed in the previous slide. And the biliary duct comes from duco, and it's any structure which brings or leads, in this case, the bile along. And you can see in the lower right corner all the ducts: the pancreatic duct, the biliary duct. Para is a Greek preposition meaning next to or adjacent to, alongside. Examples in anatomy would be the paraduodenal, next to the duodenum, as in a hernia of Treitz I discussed in an earlier YouTube video. It's a hernia next to the part of the duodenum that comes from the retroperitoneum into the peritoneal space and becomes the jejunum. Paresthesia is a sensation next to a normal feeling. And here the para and the E allied to become just the E. Parathyroid is a gland next to the thyroid gland, and you can see in the cartoon from Wikipedia, the green spots are the 4 parathyroid glands, and the orange is the thyroid gland. Peri is a Greek preposition meaning about, around, surrounding. Examples in anatomy or medicine are pericarditis. Again, courtesy of Wikipedia, is the picture of the lining of the heart around the ventricle, the pericardium, and the inflammation, which is the itis part of that noun. And a periodontist is someone who cares for or treats diseases of those tissues which surround or are around the teeth, that is, the gum and the bone. I hope you've enjoyed this video and are stimulated to look up the origins of some anatomical terms that strike your fancy, either in a medical dictionary or online. Here are some references. The 4th or 5th one down, Lasowski and Oxnard, is a huge compilation of different anatomical structures and their derivations. And the bottommost URL is whonamedyt.com, which I strongly urge people to consult as a reference for the history of medicine, and is a wonderful resource for eponyms. Thank you for your attention.